most of your predictions correct.
I mean, Chovy looks defeated. I haven't seen a look on Chovy's face like the one we just saw and the look he had when he was talking to Coach Kim before, like that in a while. Maybe not since like the Hanwha Life days. This player he hasn't been pushed to the limits too often, right? Like it's been rare domestically. You know, he's been super dominant. He's made almost every finals since he joined the team. Yeah. And in fact, has made every finals, I believe, since he joined the team. And like to be crushed like this and to just get practically clowned on in that game. I mean, it feels like not him necessarily alone, but the whole team getting crushed is just not something he's used to. And GENG, this is double elimination. It's not over yet, and the series isn't over yet, but I feel like we're all already writing the obituary, which is telling the story of what things are looking like. As Keen will get his hands on the first pick, Ambessa here, it looks like.
Yep, and I actually think this is a great thing, because if Keen gets the Ambessa, then at least it's something that he can continue trying to drag the corpses of GENG over the line with. Because this guy, the only one that's really been performing here on GENG so far, Keen has been absolutely phenomenal. And so with Ambessa in his hands, maybe that's going to be an opportunity here. As Zeus is considering his options, certainly a whole bunch of them. And it just feels to me like Hanwha has them over a barrel. That's what it feels like right now. Like they can flex all over the place. Maybe Zeus can go back to his Anivia. I like what they mentioned on the space, right? With the fact that Ruler isn't as flexible. I do want to correct, it's not a bunch of games on Ziggs. I think he's played one. He did win. He's played 4 Sona games as well. And other than that, it's all 80 carries. Is Zyra going to be locked in? And Peanut is now hovering Lulu, which is a worry.
I did see, you know, the Poppy, the Nautilus ban, Leona's gone. Delight's known for engage support, not for enchanters. But I was like, man, the Lulu stocks are going way up in this game, and they may want to pick it away. Does ultimately decide not to do so and go for the Renekton, which has a lot of synergy with this Zyra. And Zeus, he doesn't play it all too often, but he is a very good Renekton player.
He is. It's also one of the first things that we saw picked into Ambessa pretty regularly. Started off in the Kesper Cup here in Korea, so something that has, you know, been relatively tried and true. Now, the best thing would be for GENG to flex the Ambessa mid lane and play something like this, like the Karthus for Canyon. This is one of those picks that he goes back to where he's like, oh, no, screw it. We're winning. We're winning this one.
When Canyon plays Karthus in the best of 5, you know it's a good series. But right now, I haven't felt like this has been a good series. So I'm like, all right, well, that's a nice sign. Like, historically speaking, when that comes out, it's a good thing.
Yeah, this could be the turnaround.
Ooh, and the Camille.
The support Camille for Duro, am I right, guys?
It could be, but I think it's more likely that the Ambessa is going into Chovy's hands.
Yeah, please let it not be.
But we'll see what Zeka has planned in response here, because Ambessa mid is fairly niche, but we saw it was the debut in Kespa Cup, actually. It was played mid first before.
Good old Maple, actually, in his final tournament of his career. Actually, very cute.
They're going to grab the Xayah actually first. Well, it looked like they were going to. I think that makes a lot of sense because you and I were talking about this actually after game 2. Like, we're like, yeah, Viper ends up on Xayah probably, maybe Ruler, but somebody's going to end up playing this pick with the pool getting thinned out. But with Camille and the Ambessa on the other side, the value is actually quite high. Xayah could be quite weak into CC when it's circles, but when it's lines, oftentimes, like the Ambessa, it's quite good. And if you can buy space there, then it's harder to get value out of the Camille ult as well.
You are seeing a lot of melee represented as well from GENG. Even Karthus is basically melee, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So it's a fair bit of value, even if you are a more short-range 80 carry. I wouldn't mind a ban on something like a Caitlyn, though, who would just kind of shoot the Xayah over and over again. So maybe they could invest into that.
They banned the Lulu, which I think is smart, because this comp can very easily set up resets for Ruler. He's pretty known for playing Jinx as well. And the Lulu Jinx could go hard. Could also see something.
Ooh, Ziggs.
Ooh, that's interesting. Not something we expected.
Yeah, I don't think the Ziggs would have been even good.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to push a R button on top of people who are caught in a Hextech ultimatum. But
yeah, but you always want Karthus' solo AP, so I don't know about that.
I'm not a big fan of it either. I'm gonna have to agree with you, but
maybe they saw Ruler's win rate on the Ziggs, and they were like, ah.
They're just trying to think of things I think that could get advantages against Xayah and Lane as well, that kind of work with the comp. So the question now is still what Zeka is going to be playing here, because we don't know what his answer to what looks like is going to be a mid Ambessa is going to be just yet. He could play Taliyah.
That's a Fiora. So he could play Renekton.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, this is brawls everywhere. My God, it's one of my favorite games ever. Look at this. You got like Ambessa versus Renekton, Fiora versus Camille. Fiora Camille is like one of the best duelist matchups that you can get.
It's so fun. It's classic.
Oh,
like
this
Ashe,
is so good.
Ashe, though, sets this composition up for success super hard. I've seen a lot of Ambessa ults miss, but hard to miss it when you hit a stationary target. And the Smolder stacking
Oh my
on top
God,
of
okay.
it.
Wait, where does the Smolder go? It is
It's
support Camille. God.
No, it's support Ashe, right?
No, maybe. I thought it was mid lane Smolder, support Camille, Ashe 80 carry. I don't know whether it's good, but I mean, that's where the champions theoretically could go.
Like, that could happen, yeah, that could happen. We'll see. Shen!
All right, that's
All
Shen.
right.
So Delight is going to be playing the Shen support with the Xayah, and we've got like a whole lot of top laners, and then some other stuff. This is fun.
I do think that Camille support will be quite strong in the early levels in this matchup into the Shen Xayah, and the Smolder into, like, the Smolder flex here is really cool because, or the Camille flex to put the Smolder mid is really cool because now you're stuck with this awkward Renekton mid that is just going to be free food for the Smolder in terms of just stacking off him. He's going to be a battery for Chovy, who's known to stack quite quickly, as we all know. And then, you know, you end up moving the Ambessa into the top lane. Pretty skill-based matchup, I'd say, into the Camille, but feels a lot better. Or sorry, not into the Camille, into the Renekton.
Yep.
It's not Renekton. What? Oh, I lost. I got lost.
Fiora,
Thank you. Oh my God, this draft is wild. This is like Fearless is hard for casters too. Okay, we got to figure it all out at the same time.
I mean, this was extra hard because we just had no idea where anything was going until the very end of the draft.
Yeah.
And I'm still not ready to say that Camille support is not just bad.
It's not. It feels like it'll be okay early. We'll see what happens after that. The scaling aspects of this comp, though, for GENG are massive. The Karthus is going to get huge. The Smolder is going to get huge. The synergy between those two champions is actually immense. So I feel like there has to be some tempo advantages gotten. At least the Fiora needs to get ahead to be able to side here.
Yep, and we'll see how Zeka goes on the Crocodile in that mid lane. Yeah, some stuff's being cooked up. Let's see what it tastes like as we jump into the Rift. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. On to the Rift for game number 4. Match point for HLE. They're able to win this. It is a 3-1 victory. They'll stay on the winner's side of the bracket, and they will face off against D+ with that extra life still remaining. GENG, however, they will move down to face Nongshim with a loss here. So wanting to hold on.
Nongshim with their ex-player Lehens on the other side.
Yep.
And Nongshim looking to be a force to be reckoned with right now. I think, slightly favor GENG in that matchup, but GENG not looking the best so far tonight, and Nongshim kind of trending upward and playing very confidently. It's not a matchup where you're like, oh man, GENG doesn't win that necessarily, but it's a matchup where you're like, could Nongshim win that? That's scary. I don't like that. I'd rather win this one and go directly to the upper bracket.
Yep. Yeah, Nongshim versus KT looked incredibly one-sided. DK, we're just not sure whether they're just really good or what at this stage. So jury's still out. We'll just have to let you know when we get any more concrete information.
Viper and Delight don't like Camille support, and they kind of agree. They think it's going to be tough to play out. They will go top and then try to bully Keen.
Yeah, Keen taking a fair bit of damage here.
About half the health bar.
See how Delight goes on the Lehen special here on the Shen. The only one other than Lehens that has tried his hand at it. There is, you know, a few players that have had a few games here or there on the Shen, but not so far here in the LCK Cup, I'm pretty sure. And so, Delight going to see what kind of value he can get.
Yeah, I want to say Carrier almost played it, but opted not to.
Yeah, I think we were talking about Carrier was going to play it.
Keen may just want to let that experience go.
Yeah, he's going to flash back towards the turret. Let's see whether this dive is going to work out as... There's Delight just being dead, so first blood goes over to Duro on this support Camille. And now it might be his turn to die. Let's see how this dive is going to go as they find yet another one, and yeah, he's just dead. Grasping Roots are going to connect, and the flash out from Viper does mean that there's no follow-up kill there. The teleport back in from Keen will mean that he at least picks up most of this wave, but it is a 2-kill advantage here for HLE, but first blood goes over to GENG. And so the gold not too different.
Yeah, not yet. Chovy here, like I tried to say earlier, trying to battery his way to the stacks off of this handbag for now.
Yeah, Zeka is going to continue not having a great time unless Peanut comes over and finds the grasping roots. Instead, he does not. Flap, flap, and Chovy gets away.
Flapping his way out of there, trying to hit that 25 stack break point as soon as possible. Hitting 17 right now to try to start to be able to AoE those waves down and really get bigger advantages in this lane. Zeus getting that kill is pretty massive because he's not killing minions very much at the moment.
No. Yeah, 101 certainly going to help. And now that there is a wave crashing onto this turret, might be able to find a little bit of value as Durat needing to get out of there. I think the roaming here for the Camille does make a fair bit of sense because I don't know whether they necessarily win as far as the 2v2 is concerned, although my Ashe Camille is not one of my more practiced lanes.
I feel like it can be quite difficult to deal with because Ashe is so sticky, and Camille does a lot of damage, has the Halo Blade, so if you end up getting Viper, he cleanses, but you're on top of him, and then Ruler starts slowing you, it can be pretty frustrating to play out, but we're not having the level 1 scenario here. Skeen, you know, he has Flash, he feels like he can buy some time here, does end up helping with Duro coming over, buy enough time to get that first blood over, but then Duro is now stuck here. Now you can see on the mini-map that Ruler is getting solo plate gold on the other side, so he picks up some money from this, so it's not all lost here for GENG, but it's a pretty big win for Hanwha Life, especially for Zeus, who spent a lot of that early game just kind of siphoning XP and didn't have that much farm. Bought a Cull as well, and he needs to be relevant when we start to hit the latter half of that mid-game so he can side lane and start to control the map, because the scaling aspects of GENG's comp cannot be overstated here. The Camille, maybe not so much, but everything else, pretty crazy.
I don't think anyone really beats a Fiora in a side lane, though. So we'll just have to see how the game plan is going to be later on, as the dodging of the Skittles, pretty impressive here by Zeka. No lay waste to hit this Crocodile for now. And he's staying ahead in farm, actually doing a decent job. But the problem is, and the thing that's going to make you nervous, is that the Smolder is just hitting minions and is happily doing so. As you can see Zeus, just kind of smacking Keen with this sword over and over again. Could be the Ruler, as he elected not to go for the Headmistress Fiora skin. One of my personal favorites. Just beating them with a ruler just feels good. It makes a great thwacking sound as well.
Well, when Ruler's on the other team too, it feels
I know, right? It was poignant.
Missed opportunity, but
it's okay.
We digress. Yeah.
I mean, Project Fiora is one of the cooler skins. That skin line's pretty dope.
It's definitely a fan favorite. It's kind of like the Pacific Rim Aatrox. It's, no one's ever going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Well, just feels like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, some lower health bars here towards his top side as we try to ignore the skin choices and look for a little bit of something else. As the Ruthless Predator comes out, Peanut, he just said, I'll give you a Q, I guess.
I mean, Chovy is just chilling. He's like, cool, nice try, I'm stacking. And that's kind of the problem, is I feel like Hanwha Life have a kill advantage, but the gold is even, and the Smolder is stacking. Zeka's going to try again for an empowered W, but again, Chovy's just like, cool, and now I'm stacking more.
Well, there's more fighting between these top laners, but the junglers are also another point of contention here as Keen gets himself out. Had to use the ultimate though, so won't have that for the next fight. Canyon grabs himself the second grub. So this could be feats of strength unless Peanut can come over and utilize that smite that he's held on to. Ruler being pressured away from this lane, and Zeus on the Fiora is really getting some work done. Peanut with some free time, and he will be able to deny that feat of strength. So HLE holding on to a very small advantage as far as gold is concerned, but 2 grubs going over to GENG, certainly good news for them.
Chovy was relatively low on mana, and I think, even though he's early game Smolder, he does a lot in these types of fights, but he just didn't want to mess with it. You can see Karthus does out-farm almost anything, including one of the best farming junglers in the game, Zyra. So he does have a level 6 advantage here, and you can see in the gold, he's behind because of that kill that Peanut had, but not really that far behind.
Zeus lunging around here. The original dashy top laner. Mbessa, of course, kind of upgrading as far as the amount of dashes are concerned.
Okay, Delight's top side here could be a tricky play. Peanut's also coming up, trying to bait something potentially. He's like, oh look, I missed my lunge.
Well, he slinks off into the fog of war here, kind of making it look like this wave is in an awkward spot, and it kind of is, but they're looking for a dive as the arrow is going to connect. Mom gets angry, and I think Zeka is going to die. He throws down the Dominus and then flashes, and he's safe. Okay, Zeka, that was kind of sick. Still had to invest a whole lot. Plates go over to the Smolder, but he doesn't die. And that's a big deal.
All right, they need to make something happen here topside, and I just don't think they can anymore. Peanut's here. Can he catch Chovy? Chovy has flash and flap.
Yeah, and he flaps. That's all he's going to really need.
This is looking really good for GENG right now. Zeka surviving is massive, but, you know, at the end of the day, Chovy's just like, all right, cool, more stacks. And he's at 68 right now. He's at really good pace in this game.
Yeah.
He's almost like clock stacked. Like, it's almost like he's nearly gotten like every single minion as a stack. I mean, he hasn't obviously, but he's stacked a lot off the Renekton. Because of the Renekton matchup, you could practically be on the clock with stacks, which is kind of insane. Which means he's going to hit that breakpoint so quickly with a composition that already has so many other elements of great scaling. And I'm worried about Hanwha Life Esports here because they don't have a gold advantage at all. They need to have big advantages in this mid game if this game is to work. Because you mentioned Fiora winning in sides, and that's definitely true, and the call's halfway done. And that's going to be a big way for Hanwha Life to kind of pull GENG around the map and make it so they can't take those ideal team fights later on, even with the scaling. But that alone, I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Well, HLE going to take the opportunity to grab the first dragon. That's going to be a Hex Tech. As Canyon has the highest CS per minute, which is pretty silly. It's only Chovy that's second on that one, and he's playing Smolder. So like you were saying, yes, it's a worrying sign for HLE. They are still able to get this dragon. Next one going to be a Cloud, and we'll see what the soul is going to be after that. Zeus loses out on this trade. It's the weak spot. Actually, not even procced here. It's kind of thought that perhaps Zeus might be able to hit that one, but wasn't quite able to. Does have his Tiamat done. Keen still looking for that first item, most likely Eclipse, to be coming in ASAP. And Blackfire Torch is done for Canyon.
Yeah, it's, you know, he's really clearing. When we went into this series, you know, one of the things I said was I feel like GENG, probably the second best drafting team behind D plus Kia. There wasn't a whole lot of evidence of that until this game, right? There was a lot of flexing, tricking them to pull another melee mid laner in, then putting the Camille bottom, then pulling out the Smolder. This is the kind of trickiness that you want to see from a team in Fearless Best of 5, because in order to go to first stand, you're going to have to win a few more of those.
Yep.
And there's some good teams on the other side, and so I wanted to give GENG a little bit of credit for this one because they are really having such a great early game here. Yes, Hanwha 1 kill up and did end up getting the win in that top side skirmish, but otherwise having some trouble. Now the side laning has begun, at least for a moment here, but it's only just going to be a plate. Again, not enough, but later on, you get the whole turret. You start to threaten the inner. You start to threaten the inhibitor. You start to force some teleports.
Oh, Ravenous Hydra on its way here for Zeus as well, who has actually taken the Ghost, so it does mean that he can chase people down in these side lanes. There's Canyon walking past these grubs as they spawn. They'd love to kill Peanut. That would mean that those grubs should be free, but instead, Peanut going to be able to find a way into this river. They look for an angle towards Chovy. Him and Viper doing battle here as 80 carry versus 80 carry. Delight wanted to come on over and stop Canyon from getting this done, but instead they turn onto Duro, who throws down the Hex Tech ultimatum. Peanut, the first one to go down, and as he hook shots away, and he stays alive. Into the backline goes Keen as well, and he executes Viper. Duro will eventually fall, but look at Zeus. He's taking so many of these shots, and it's a double kill on the back end for Zeus. He finds the angle, Delight flashes away, but he's still gonna die, and now Ruler finally finding a moment to perform as Zeka gets on top of him, but Ruler says no. He's got another left in the quiver for him, and they'll also claim 5 grubs off the back end.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is likely the team fight that breaks the game. Chovy, in that fight, did so much damage, but what he also did was stack hard. He stayed in that fight the entire time. He's stacking from the moment he drops his ultimate as well. And look at Duro's ult here. So well played, actually gets him out alive. Canyon flashes to safety. And Keen, with the teleport here, shows up. Now Zeus is in the wrong spot, right? Yes, he secures the kill, but he sacrifices himself in order to do it, which isn't great, right? Keen comes in here. Yes, it's a really nice riposte, but look at Ruler and Chovy. 280 carries, just having their best time. And Chovy just keeps queuing, stacking. And he's hitting 125 at like, I don't know, 14 minutes or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, that's absolutely absurd.
Let's see how many stacks he's at right now. 126 at 12:30.
And Duro's dead.
Oh my God, yeah, Duro is dead. I don't know what.
It doesn't really matter. It's just.
But Chovy's at 129 stacks at 12:30.
He's at a lot of stacks. And Zeus is 4-0-1. It's now the scaling versus Fiora.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting. Who's your money on? Because my money's kind of on Smolder.
I mean,
the way the game's being played
mine's on GENG right now. It should be. However, GENG have been really good at throwing games away in this series thus far. Of course, it didn't actually manage to work in Game 2, but it got close. So I'm saying that this is probably GENG favored right now. I mean, it's absolutely GENG favored right now, but I think that they will be able to bring us to the Silver Scrapes.
I also think Zeus here, they're just going to start focusing him down so he can't side, because Chovy can kind of just weak side. Like, he's side laning into a Renekton. He's like, cool, I was doing that in the mid lane. It was going really well for me. I'm getting bigger all the time. He has Flap, so he can buy space, and Flap is also +1 stack as well. It's great.
Well, Keen is dashing around. And they do put up the wall of pain. Next objective going to be this Cloud Dragon. 27 seconds on that one. As Zeus continuing to dash around, Canyon will be here to make this an unfair fight. We were talking about walls of pain there before. Let's see what they can actually get done here as Duro finds a Hextech ultimatum. He's kind of by himself as the arrow. It sails by. There's the Requiem as Zeus just reposts it. And there goes Duro. So a nice pickup there for HLE.
Yeah, kill going over the Shen, but still, what looked like a pretty sticky situation is resolved. Chovy is starting to demolish this turret, though.
Yeah, this is the problem, is there's the flash forward from Zeka. Can he actually kill this Smolder as he blocks him? He can't get in. Delight with the Stands United to help lock down the pesky dragon.
All right, 2 big wins on both sides of the map for Hanwha Life. Plus this one here with another really good riposte from Zeus. Pretty good into Camille when she does it that face up, actually, as it turns out.
I mean, that's the top lane matchup, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Don't hookshot Fiora.
Yeah, don't do it.
But that was a support, so we'll give him a pass.
This also is really greedy here from Duro. The arrow doesn't connect, and even if it did, they don't quite have the follow-up here. Because Chovy is pushing into the Renekton, right? Like, they need a little bit more range damage. Ashe was far away as well, arrowed. And then this is just, Zeka goes for the play, has the Stand United, and Chovy knows as soon as he sees that Shen ultimate, he is dead. Really nice block to stop the Flap over the wall.
Delight with, like, the I didn't even move Shadow Dash just to make sure that he's taunted, can't get over the wall. Gorgeously done.
Yeah. The fastest Smolder stack I can remember was something, I think it was Viper actually at like 1730. I don't actually have the number, but I feel like that was the fastest I can remember. Chovy is looking like he's getting close to being able to hit that. That death will slow him down significantly here. And
yeah, I think maybe that has kind of ruined the breaking the records, but we know that like if you get it by 19 minutes, you're absolutely you're belting ahead.
Yeah, you could see here he's at 157. If you're curious, you can always see it below his portrait. On the left side of the screen as well. It's a new feature this year, and I'm very happy for it because we were always wondering.
It's very, very cool. As Chovy now able to farm the rest of these, you can see with the slightly extra empowered Q.
And they just keep following the Fiora. They're like, oh yeah, you're a good side lane champ, but not against 3 people. And so, as a result, like, we're just going to turn you into Chovy's new stacking battery, and you're not going to push. And Keen's just fine to this Renekton right now. They're trying to take this Herald.
Well, I mean, this is the thing that you do sacrifice, so Rift Herald should now be secured by HLE. We'll see whether they can utilize that to grab themselves some map advantage.
I mean, no one's dying here for Hanwha, but this turret is getting worn down.
Oh, goodness me, the Achu doing so much work as Delight almost just dead as Mom just rains down. There's the taunt onto Duro. Grand challenge is issued, but not actually going to do too much here. So they are going to be able to brute force this inner turret. Let's see what HLE can get done on the other side of this, though, because the Rift Herald has now made its way towards the mid lane. They should be able to stick around and take this one down, although it's taking a bit of time. And GENG utilizing the 5 grubs that they picked up as well. Really, really nice.
That's a really big grab for Hanwha Life because they have the ability now to look for Renekton flanks and try to set up some cool angles of attack to punish Ruler, who likes to overextend. As
it's public execution as Featherstorm comes down. Stranglethorn's coming in there as well as Viper is alive, and Delight just takes down the Ambessa. Requiem is probably going to kill him. Yeah, there he goes, and that is 2 picked up for GENG off the back end. You always have to remember, if you limp away, you're going to need a way to stop the beam of light from the sky murdering you.
That was not quite as egregious as the Canyon Ruler adventure that we had in Game 2, but, you know, it looked scary for a second, but then the Requiem helped clean up house. GENG going really deep for that one. Is over here, they end up getting this kill onto Delight as well. So much damage on the Smolder already. Yeah, so remember, like, he gets items right, he does more damage, but his Q is getting stronger all the time, even before execute.
And now Zeka is going to try and do it again. This time Duro is in position. Chovy trying to flap away, and that is only a slice. No dice is available, but still, Duro is not going to be able to follow up. And so Chovy will survive, but so will Zeka. The problem is Chovy surviving is the bigger problem here for HLE than it is for GENG having a Renekton stay alive. It's not like the scaling is going to be something that you care about.
25 stacks away from the execute here is Chovy. And Hanwha Life found some good angles. They've been able to do a lot more with very little than I've expected. And this Fiora is still a big threat. Yep, no doubt. And you can see it even in the minimap there. Like, he's down there. He's ready to keep pushing when he has an opportunity to. That top side turret is his real prize because he has teleport now, so wants to be on the opposite side of the map to that dragon. Goes top, can clear that, can threaten a turret, TP in. That's where the money is, top side too. So good setup here. This is a really important fight for Hanwha Life because it's the last fight they're going to take before Chovy pops people like balloons. And if they keep kind of slowly approaching this one, it might actually just be too late before that happens, but they may have one fight before the Smolder is fully online. 2 items for Chovy. This is a really critical moment here for Hanwha Life.
Oh, Viper possibly in trouble as the arrow's just going to get blocked by Delight. You love to see that. Delight still front runner for POM in my brain, and that is going to demonstrate exactly why. Absolutely heroic. Still not anything going to come of it.
Yeah, I got to win the series first.
Yeah, this Mountain Drake is going to be the biggest thing on everyone's mind. That
100%.
Soul point for HLE keeps them in the game as far as scaling is concerned as well. So that is sort of permanent stats with that extra shield. 2 items now completed for Zeus. He teleports immediately back in.
Team fighting Fiora, it's time, I guess.
Yep, they know that they're going to have to try and win some sort of fight. And HLE are just desperately trying to get towards this pit. They do have some vision available. The problem is that Chovy, as he pokes them out, he's getting more of these stacks. As okay, he goes to Light. They managed to at least pop this Karthus, but remember, he can still do damage. There's the Requiem, as they can get onto that healing field if they want to stay alive, as now Zeka getting cut up by Keen, but the Stand United, it's going to be there. Keen goes down eventually. Duro's at full health, but look at Ruler. He's just raining the arrows in. Delight finds it, but not the kill. And Ruler limps away from the fight, but keeps himself alive. And Duro should be able to tank this dragon up as they look to deny that soul point.
This is an additional 5 minutes of time no matter what here. And that's why Hanwha Life Esports are so heavily committing to this fight. They go in and they kill Karthus. But as you pointed out, and as everybody who's watched League of Legends for a while knows, Karthus is still going to do big damage, allows Ruler to win what's not really truly a 1v1, but an isolated fight there against his opposition. And now he can just run them down. Delight with some heroics here, which was really cool to see. Like, he's actually almost able to kill Ruler there. But ultimately, Ruler cleans up house, even though they kill the Smolder. There's 2 big threats.
And yeah, the roller coaster of emotions for everyone watching this series on both sides of the rift.
That was a little tricky for me because it was an orange thing that she was wearing, but it was a tiger, so it's because
I think it's just you'd get different undulations, right? Based on which team you're a fan of. Because there were moments to be excited and moments to be a little bit upset throughout this one. As Chovy has made it to 229 stacks, hitting that about a minute ago, I guess. About 45 seconds, probably a minute. And that means that, yeah, the Smolder has done it. Smolder's made it to the thing that he wants to make it to.
It's so hard now for Hanwha Life, and they have no vision here, trying to leapfrog their way in. They're so slow.
Yeah. Can Peanut actually get over? His mom gets angry. Yeah, no, he cannot make it in at all. And now they're just in the wrong spot. Public execution. Yep, right in front of all of his friends. Zeka is going to try and kill someone and does manage to at least send Canyon home. But it's a double kill off the back end. Peanut dead to Ruler, and Zeka follows the same fate. As HLE, I mean, I don't know what this Death Rush is really doing here, as Zeus just trying to keep himself somewhat not dead, as that's a lot of riposte value and does manage to at least send one of them home. Viper, I don't know what that Featherstorm was.
Hey, look, it's usually on the list of ultimates, approved ults to dodge, but he dodged the Requiem.
Ah, there we go.
It's not really on the approved ults we discussed with Zy. We're like, yeah, it's good into this, it's good into this. Technically, he dodged it.
He did. And he has been doing that all game, and it's been good. I actually didn't witness that it was a Requiem that was coming down.
Yeah, it's just not the normal one in this case. But, I mean, look, Hanwha Life, they don't want to give this up, but the splash here from Chovy is so massive in that choke. The rest of them have to back out. Zeka priced in because he teleported to this, and he's been a handbag pretty much start to finish in this game just because of the draft setup. And I want to give GENG credit for how they piloted this comp, but it's the master class of draft that's really the story of this game, and the flexibility of the Camille to support, the Chovy Smolder, how well they played it. And it looked pretty doomed for GENG before we started that draft, and even in the draft there was some concerns, right? But it was a really good pivot. It tricked Hanwha Life Esports. They put the Renekton mid, they struggled. And it gives you hope if you're a GENG fan that maybe in that Silver Scrapes they could go through with it and win. Because right now this game feels pretty over. 6,000 gold lead, a Smolder that's fully stacked and getting more stacks all the time.
Ooh, that's a high-value Zyra damage. As Mum gets mad, Viper is also dead. Keen is just going to kill him, and there's nothing Delight can do about it because he's just taking damage from everyone else. A double kill here for Keen as now Zeka trying to get this value. Sends Chovy home, might be able to do the same thing to Duro, and does so before making his way out of the base gate. Flash over, and in the meantime, Zeus is in a side lane, just killing this turret as well as all of the minions. HLE, they lose a lot, but they at least evict a lot of GENG. Not Rule, though, who's just going to take this in a turret, and so it's still really bad for HLE.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to look at this game and, you know, oh, well, this could be an angle, maybe. Ruler. He does have withdraw still.
Yeah, he may be withdrawing at this point in time. Yeah, he just goes down. In fact, yeah, just wore off, and now Canyon's also dead. Peanut, he's going to eat a Skittle, and that is not one that he finds too delicious. Zay's going to need to riposte, does so to avoid the Requiem, as Keen looking for some immediate revenge. Zay's trying to be that hero, and he does blast cone his way to relative safety. But Chovy, every time he hits one of these Qs, I fear someone is just going to die. And yeah, that's like he sneezed and Viper had to press his ultimate. That is absurd. Oh my God! Avoided the splash somehow.
Good job, Zeka. He walked left on purpose for sure. Yeah, this is something we talked about a lot when Smolder first came out. Is you're like, oh, I'm good, and then your teammate just walks forward and sets up the splash. I feel like Delight has had a fantastic game, all things considered, in this one. His Shen play has been pretty phenomenal.
Outside of this exact point.
Not this exact moment, but the one that happens in a moment.
Yeah.
There's the small victories. We count the small victories, and like GENG then follow up to overextend with Ruler and Canyon, and I don't really want to talk about it, but like this can't keep happening or you're not going to go to first stand. But, you know, it might not matter in this one. We'll watch it again. Delight does some cool stuff. We should probably cut to live because Baron is being taken by GENG, and they've got a lot of damage at this point in time in the game. Zeka, let's see what this Croc can get done. One last time, one last Hail Mary. Peanut.
Yeah, Peanut, can you actually get in there? The answer's probably going to be no, as they do manage to lock down the Baron. Now Zeka trying to do what he can. Chovy is just dead, though, as Peanut locks that one up. That's a great arm guard to keep himself safe. But that 1-for-1 still going to kind of work in favor of HLE. The problem is that GENG managed to get themselves the Baron, and so they get the prize.
Yeah,
and will Soul Point actually be enough to alleviate that, especially with Peanut at 100 health, making everyone nervous?
Get Soul Point is the real question. Requiem says
no.
Peanut's
just dead. Stand United, that's going to be enough to save him. Okay, eating some honey fruit here as well.
But they lose the dragon,
They lose the dragon,
yeah. It was cool, though. Delight, he's playing well, you know?
Yeah.
He presses his buttons the right way. It just, there was never really any winning there, unfortunately. Chovy's up in 5 seconds. And they're just going to run down whatever lane they like, start putting the pressure on those inhibitors. They may 1-3-1. Zeka here has to come in to try to buy space for Peanut. Fortunately, he's just focused down. It's so hard to play Renekton into a Fed Ashe in general.
I mean, he's doing exactly what he needs to be honest. Like, there's no way to actually find value.
Yeah, no, there's no other play. You just have to try to be a health bar that dies so that your team could do things.
Prey would have landed that. Wait, hang on, he did.
It was a bit of a different situation, a bit of a different game state, bit of a more high-stakes match.
Yeah, it might have been somewhat different. Still,
Look,
7,000 gold is the lead here for GENG.
He's gotten some shade from everybody this series, I think. But you know, this one we'll let it pass.
Oh yeah, no, he's had a good game. 8, 1, and 7. Looking brilliant on the Ashe.
I mean, he had so many good Ashe games throughout his career. He had one really fantastic one when he picked up POM, and I made the Cupid joke earlier on in the season. Like, it's one of his best champs this year for sure. He's looking good once again.
Well, let's see what they can actually find as Peanut doesn't get the grasping roots. Decent Shadow Dash there from Delight to get Duro out of there, but Duro doesn't really mind about losing a bit of his health bar. He's going to head back, and the rest of GENG will be wiping out this turret. HLE on the ropes well and truly, and the Fiora is in a side lane because, of course, team fighting Fiora means you're probably losing the game regardless. That is the game state for HLE right now as Delight. Oh my god. I don't know who looked at him the wrong way, but it was someone. And Delight is not going to die to the Requiem, but it is just softening them up. The dot damage as well is kind of absurd.
Dark Harvest stack acquired again here for Canyon. I wonder how many he has.
Well, Teleport going to get Zeus on top of Canyon right now. Keen is moving so quickly to get on over, and he's interrupted. Oh no, Zeus 1 versus 3. I don't know about this one. Still able to take down Canyon. That is massive, and he's still alive. My god, Delight gets in there. That's why he was able to survive for so long. And Duro almost dead, but is going to be able to take down his opposite number. Some absolute heroics here for HLE, but they are on death's door, even if they are flailing about in a pretty cool way.
Yeah, that was really cool, but it isn't going to change the outcome here in this game. Maybe in an even game state, maybe in an even draft. Not in this scenario, as Chovy is just going to start AoEing them down. Every burn hurts.
Oh my goodness, yeah, exactly. Look at that, sneezed on Viper, and he had to go back up into the sky once again. As I don't know whether a recall of some feathers is going to be enough to stop them from just tearing this base apart. Another Conga line of minions is going to move in from the top side as Keen dashing around in circles of Strangle Thorns. Not going to really get anything done. And all right, now we're flashing forward, looking for some opportunities as the Requiem does come on through, and that is going to take down at least Delight. Ruler is just kiting out the Renekton, who is free food for these 80 carries. Zeus trying to be the fed Fiora that he wants to be, but he's like that Fiora that says they're a smurf in your iron solo queue game. Sometimes they're just not good enough to get it done, and it doesn't happen this time either. And that is silver scraped by GENG for the second time in a row for HLE as well, going to 5 games.
Yeah, really interesting series we ended up with here. GENG nearly tossing that game 2 away. We wouldn't have even gotten here if that were the case. How close they were to losing that one. And then in this game, with a really cool swap of the Camille to support. We knew it was a possibility, but unfortunately, Honda Life Esports indexed super hard into it not happening, and then they got smoldered super hard.
They really did. I actually think the pivot in the draft was so beautiful. I do truly believe that GENG were thinking that it was going to be the Camille in a solo lane, like Ambessa mid or something like that for Chovy, and then you play around the Karthus that way. But I loved this pivot. Duro also playing a great game of the support Camille. When I saw that get picked, I had flashbacks of what happened when Beryl just recently played it, and that was sub-good.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have it. The dream. The Game 5. Fearless. Everything's banned. Silver scrapes.
Yep, I cannot wait to see what kind of craziness is going to be picked up here as well. This is going to be an absolute treat. Surprises me that GENG have got there as well after we've been so critical of them. But here we are. Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Short break, the space, and then we'll get into it.
다이랑 공 없지 않나?
해라 몰라. 공 없어.
오케이 저 가는 중. 펜 15초.
다이아 노공.
일단 탑라인 올 거예요 이거.
나 15초 뒤에 공 내고.
천천히 타워 먼저 쳐도 돼요. 타워 먼저.
타 보죠. 치울 수 있구나. 나이스.
이거 탑도 와요. 탑도 와요.
쫄아 10초. 야 자이라. 자이라.
그냥 보면 돼. 그냥 보면 돼.
자이라 도냐?
나 왔어 이제.
내가 쉔 나왔다 쉔. 나 공을 한번 쓸게.
잘 해볼게. 피로 나왔어.
나이스. 쫄았다.
나이스.
와우.
길게임이었는데 이거 뭐였지?
나이스. 나이스.